Well, guys, it never fails. I did a video on Friday that was talking about the fact that Elon was getting sued by the SEC, and literally, actually, it wasn't on Friday. It was on Saturday. I was busy on Friday. I didn't get it out. I recorded that on Saturday, and literally an hour later, the news came out that many of you probably already know about because we all kind of travel in the same informational circles, I'm sure. But no, Elon settled with the SEC, and the lawsuit has gone away. The terms of the settlement were that Elon has to step down as chairman of the board for Tesla, but he does get to stay on as CEO. They have to appoint 2 independent members of the board to just basically keep tabs on Elon. They want to create a little bit of a distance between Elon and the board itself. And he has 45 days to step down as chairman. And there's $20 million fine that he has to pay and a $20 million fine that Tesla has to pay, which is a slap on the wrist. They've got plenty of money for that, so does he. So those are the terms of the deal. And in terms of what I think about it, I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great deal. I had been saying for a while that Tesla needs a COO, that they need somebody else to kind of be managing the company, that Elon is just way too much a part of it. Not just because of his erratic behavior and his Elon-ness, kind of causing problems, but I think it's a bad idea for any company to have that much of their business wrapped up in one person, because people die. Something could happen. So if something happened to Elon, then that would just be really difficult for the company to deal with. They need to kind of get to that place anyway, because eventually, like I had said on my last video, eventually somebody else is going to be running this company. So they might as well have a solid bench to work from, so to speak. And let's just be honest, I am a fan of the guy, but he's been cracking up a little bit lately, and he's been doing some not so bright stuff, which is the kind of thing that got him in trouble in the first place. I think part of the settlement also said that the board or some independent part of the board needed to oversee his Twitter activity. I'm a little bit mixed on that, because Elon's very mixed on Twitter. A lot of the stuff, he's gotten in trouble by doing some really dumb stuff on Twitter, but he's also used Twitter in a very smart way to address people's problems. What other company is there where you can tweet the CEO and the CEO could actually take your problem or your advice or your opinion, your thought, and then go and actually implement that in the company? That's happened countless times with Elon and Tesla. That's one of their biggest strengths. So I don't think that would be affected. No member of the board is going to keep him from doing really great stuff on Twitter. But the fact that there might be somebody that's kind of, keeping an eye on what he's doing on Twitter, I think is a good thing. Overall, I think it's good news. It's definitely good news that he didn't try to fight it, and because he could have completely lost the company if he had fought it and it didn't work out. But anyway, people are always talking about the stocks. The stocks plummeted on Friday because of the news of the SEC wanting to sue him, and then on Monday they shot up far beyond where they were on Friday before the big tank. So I think I hate the horse race of the stock market. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. You always hear these stories of one story coming out that doesn't really have anything to do with the company, but it gets interpreted that way by this particular investor, and then this goes out, and then everybody panics. We are such panicky animals, and the stock market is the perfect example of that. So I can understand why there was talk of wanting to take the company private. I could definitely see the advantages of that. But having said all that, I also mentioned over the weekend when I did that video that their third quarter numbers were going to be coming out soon. They're wrapping up third quarter. Today is the very first day of the fourth quarter, so they just wrapped up the third quarter yesterday. And they haven't released any official numbers yet, but the numbers look really, really good for Tesla right now. I've got Electrek open on my computer here. What they're saying, they've got a source that reached out to them, or a source at Tesla, that said that their total for the third quarter was 80,000 vehicles. And of those 80,000 vehicles, Tesla produced 53,000 Model 3s during the quarter. That's 187% increase over the last quarter, where I think they did 27,000 Model 3s. So they almost doubled their output in between the second and the third quarter. So, and they also talk in this article about, I'll put a link down in the description if you're curious about it, but they also talked about how many of these got delivered, which is another number that they may have actually delivered more than they produced, because as I was talking about 3 months ago, back in July, they were kind of putting off a lot of customers to push out their Model 3s in July because of the tax incentive situation. So they may have actually delivered more cars than they produced. This is an insane number of vehicles. It's insane amounts of growth. Whether they will continue that same rate of growth over the quarter, over the next quarter, over the fourth quarter, probably not. I'm totally speculating. I don't know, but they may be running at full capacity right now. But even still, you know, say what you want about the company. I know it has its haters. I have friends that absolutely hate Tesla, and it's actually been something. I've been through a lot of consternation over the fact that I have friends that I just can't even talk about with a Tesla. They just absolutely hate Tesla, and yet I have one now, and I don't know how to break the news to them. It's just going to be constant arguing. I'm not looking forward to it. But the company is doing really well. They have some bond payments coming up that are going to be challenging, but if things are going the way they are right now, it's looking really good. Now, these are all a bit speculative. This isn't their full, this isn't their official announcement. I think that's going to be in the next week or so, and I'm looking forward to hearing the official numbers. But man, it's just a crazy ride. And here's the thing: as I'm telling them, as I'm recording this video, just like what happened on Saturday, I'm sure something's going to happen in 30 minutes is going to render all of this invalid. So that's the fun thing about trying to keep up with Tesla. But the only reason I'm doing this right now on Tesla is because I just put something out on Saturday, and that totally got wiped clean with news that happened right after that. So I'm just kind of following up with that. I know it's been a nonstop Tesla on this channel, and that's not what it's going to be. But anyway, just trying to keep you guys abreast of the information as it happens, because it's happening a lot. Obviously, if you want to hear more about this kind of thing, the Ludicrous Future podcast that I do with Ben Sullins and Tim Dodd, we'll be recording that on Thursday, so they'll be talking about it there, I'm sure. There's lots of more cool stuff happening with their new, the release of their new software and some of the stuff that it does. I won't go into all that right now, but anyway, that's the news. I'm getting you caught up, and more to come on other things in the future. Hope you guys are doing great. Have a great week. I'll catch you later.